When traveling in your RV, carrying the right tools for a roadside emergency or a flat tire is crucial. A spare tire, jack, lug wrench can all get you back on the road fast, ensuring safety and peace of mind on your journey. So at this point, I grabbed the GoPro, or Tina did, because we had already determined that the valve stem was the problem. Now I already removed the spare from the bottom of the RV and it was adding air at this time. And by the way, the TST Tire Pressure Monitoring System caught the slow leak and saved us from a possible blowout.
First time ever.
Okay, now that the preparation is completed, it is now time to pull the RV up onto the tire ramp. Now, one of the things about carrying the tire ramp is you don't need to try to jack up the axle or the entire rig. You can simply just pull it up onto the ramp, unless it scoots across the pavement, much like this one was doing. So I carry, along with the Anderson levelers, it came with the Anderson levelers come with a little rubber mat, and I use that often in cases where I have to pull this up on a ramp like this to help the tire and the tire ramp to get a nice grip onto the surface. And here you can see that the tire is coming up onto the ramp, and if you look closely, you'll see the rear tire is up off the ground. So no need to get a jack out and start trying to jack up the tire. So there you go, it's spinning freely. Also, another thing that makes it handy is I carry a impact wrench and socket set, so I can easily remove the lug nuts. And the battery died. So basically all I did is I took the old tire off and put the new one on, and then backed it down off of the ramp. And then here, again, keeping all the tools you need, we properly torque the lug nuts to the 110 pounds of torque per lug nut. And here we are, stowing the tire back in place, getting ready to button everything back up, get back on the road. We had a planned stopover that evening, but we decided to go ahead and push through and head on home. Otherwise, I would have tried to find a place to have the spare tire fixed.
I'll do the housekeeping when we get home.
Yeah.
As long as the tools don't go anywhere.
Yeah.
So we had a bad valve stem. I think I showed it. I just moved it. So as the tire was spinning, it was moving the valve stem, and it was leaking out air.
Yeah.
So the TST paid off.
Yes. And luckily we were somewhere close to an exit.
I slowed down from 65 down to about 55 and got off at the next exit, found a parking lot, and pulled out the good tire. I had the Westlake tire there, that's the oldest one. I went ahead and got the extra Goodyear tire and aired it up to 73 PSI. It'll speed up. Let's just hope that's all it is. If we can get a stop, if we have a planned stopover,
Yeah.
if we can find a place maybe they can replace the valve stem, we'll
Yeah.
otherwise I'll still make it on. All right,
Yeah.
let me clean up.
All right.
Eventually.
Okay, continuing this video, we are now going to attempt to replace the valve stem ourselves. Now, I'm not necessarily recommending to do this, but I thought, you know what? If I was out and around somewhere and I really needed to do this, then I need to know how to do it, should I need to do it. All right, so what we're gonna do first is you need to let out all the air if it hasn't already been let out. And since what I found on the rig issue was the valve stem was broken or breaking, I'll let all the air out and we'll move on. I'm gonna get some grease, some lubricant right down in there so that I can get the tool to slide in there, and I'll show you the tool here in just a second. So we're going to use this, like I said, as a little bit of a lubricant grease. So I'm going to dab a little bit of that down there. All right, so there is our grease right there. So the second item that I got is this valve stem puller and installer. I guess it's a tool set. And it comes with the puller, which is this red T-handle device right here. And it has a valve stem installer, which consists of this tube here and this funnel, and then a handle to help drive it all down. Also, on your tools list, try to find you a rubber mallet that might help keep your hands from getting too sore when you gotta plop that sucker in. Okay, so this has a J hook on it, you can see right here, and this is what's going to slide down into the valve stem hole. Then you're going to turn it to catch the bottom of the valve stem, which would be this part right here. So it's going to come down and it's going to hook, and you're going to pull the old valve out. So let's give that a try. Alright, so here we go. We're going to take this, use that lube there, push some of that down in there, and well, clearly we didn't have all the air out. All right, we pushed it down, and I'm going to hook that J up underneath the bottom of that, and I'm going to try to do this without knocking the camera over. And there we go. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to kind of clean this up a little bit. Now you can't do this if your tires have a TPMS sensor inside the wheel. It won't come out this way. And you can't do this, to my knowledge, if you have metal valve stems, which is something that I might do at some point, because I suspect this developed a leak because of the flexing of the TPMS sensor, and caused that to happen. So moving on. Now the second thing you're going to want to do is to make sure that you don't depend on the valve stems that come with that kit. These are rubber, okay? And if you're using a TPMS sensor, you need to make sure that you replace it with the proper type. Now, I just went off of ChatGPT and looked up this model of wheel. So you might want to look at the wheel type and to get the diameter of the hole. Now, I believe this is all standardized. However, double dog check and make sure. So what I did is I ordered, yeah, this is something like a small part shop would need. But I got these high pressure valve stems replacements for the 0.453 rim hole length. This is, again, what is, I guess you would call industry standard, and so we'll see. But these are brass, and these are like what came off the other one.
So let's just compare. Okay, here is the old, and here is the new. So other than being bent and torn, yeah, I think we're good to go. So next we're going to take this rod that came with the kit and thread this handle on. Okay. And this end has a threaded receiver. I hope you can see that. It's threaded. And that will thread onto this. Like so. Or it should. Or it better. Okay. So you want to screw that all the way on. This tube, if you notice, it tapers down, and that will squeeze this base here so that it's small enough to get into that hole. And when you push this in, you're going to want to push it all the way down, so all of it's going to go through the wheel, and then you're going to pull it back out. But we're going to put more grease on this to help this all slide down and into the hole. I don't think you need to go crazy with the grease, but just enough. All right, you place that tube, the tapering tube right there, and then we're going to take this and push it down. And now we take our hammer. Once I push that down a little bit further, and we are going to tap that in place. Nope. And all right, so Dave didn't do it right the first time, so I get to take it off. So since I did it right the first time, let's just unscrew it. I think what I'm going to do is put a little bit of lube on the entrance part right here as well, and then more lube on here, because it felt kind of restrictive as I was tapping it in. And that's one thing I want to do for you guys and gals, is that show you when it works and when things don't work out as well as I think they should. All right, I will always be honest. Man, no, that's not going.
1 hour later.
Okay, well, I finally got it in, and it was tough. But let me be honest with you, I couldn't get it in with the tools supplied. Like you saw, I was able to get the old one out, but to get the new one in, I had to run it down to my local Meineke station, and they took care of it, no charge. Thanks to them. I appreciate it, guys. So what happened was the tool that compresses the new valve stem, it wouldn't fit here properly around the hole. So when it pushed through, right, it just popped out. So I filed down the end of it to try to fit down in there, and then when I put it through there, it split. So what I think I'm going to try to do is actually find me a metal funnel that will fit in here right up against this right here. It'll hold that in place. And then I may take one of my other tires and just try it again for fun. But if I do, I'll record it. Anyway, I just want to let you know that it was a success that we got it replaced, but it was a failure that I didn't do it. All right, so we're going to mount this tire back on the RV, and we're going to head out.